of the Always Believe House. And today we're going to do one of the hardest things you'll do this fall, and it's going to be F-U-N, fun, fun, fun. Today, we're going to be given a point and a slope. We're going to plug the equation into point slope, and then switch it to standard or y equal mx plus b. Ho, 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 ho. Okay, what you've got to be able to do is you've got to be able to write linear equations in point slope, slope-intercept, and standard. So we're going to get into that. Okay, and I'm going to teach you how. This is the hardest thing you'll do this fall, so stay with me, and we're going to get this done. Remember, this won't be easy, but we got this, okay? And a magical whiteboard appears, and we are rocking and rolling in the Always Believe House. Oh, oh, oh. Okay, so notice, up here, we have our slope formula, okay, right here. This is standard form, ax plus by equals c. This is point slope form, and the one that they don't give you is slope-intercept, which is what you did in junior high. You should know this. Slope-intercept is y equal mx plus b. So you've got to be able to write an equation in all three of those ways. And the easiest way to do this is to plug it into point slope and then switch it to standard or y-intercept. So that's what you're going to be taught how to do. Okay? So let's do example 2 first because it's easier. So on example 2, put an x over the negative 2 and a y over here, and this is my m, right? So I know my x, my y, my m, and like we did in the previous lesson, we're going to plug this into point slope. Oh, oh, oh. So in point slope, remember, we're going to replace this number, and this number, right? So we're going to replace the y, the m, and the x, but the y and the x have negative signs, so it's the opposite. So let's rock and roll, and let's plug this into point slope. So I'm going to write down y. Then I'm going to say, what is the opposite of my y? The opposite of a positive 2 is a negative 2. So I'm going to have y minus 2 equals, I'm going to put my m next, negative 3, parentheses, and then x, and then I'm going to put the opposite of my x. The opposite of my x is a plus 2. We did this in the last lesson, didn't we? So you should be able to get the point and a slope and plug it into point slope. Now then, we are going to solve this for y. Ho, 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 ho. So we have a bluebell truck here, don't we? We're going to take this negative 3 and bluebell truck it, right? So we're going to end up with y minus 2 equals negative 3x minus 6. Now that we just solve it for y, this is pretty simple stuff. We're going to move over the negative 2. We're going to add 2 to both sides, and we will end up with y equal negative 3x minus 4. That is the equation of the line in slope-intercept. Ho, 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 ho. Piece of cake, right? Now then, this gets a little bit more tricky if the slope is a fraction, and I'm going to show you how to do it. The key is you will always end up with this. And then from there, we're going to switch it. You'll always have y plus or minus a number equal x plus or minus a number. You will have that every single time doing it this way. So let's do the next one. Okay, so write down x, y, and your m. And now that I'm going to plug this in a point slope. So y, what is the opposite of minus 3? It's a plus 3 equals, my slope is negative 2 over 3, parentheses, x, and the opposite of negative 1 is a plus 1. Now then I'm going to zoom into here some more. Oh, 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 that's more power. Oh, okay. Now then, this is tricky, okay? So please pay attention here. This is not easy. Okay. I don't want to do that. Let me go to my pen. Okay. What is the denominator of your fraction? It's 3, right? Y'all with me? The opposite of divide by 3 is to multiply by 3. So I need to take that 3 and multiply it by the whole equation. Basically, you're going to take this 3 and multiply it by the y, the 3, and the negative 2/3. These two bluebell trucks will combine the 3 and the negative 2/3 to the x plus 1. So anytime you have a fraction, you're going to distribute the denominator 3 times. 1 over the y, 1 over the number, 1 over the fraction. Now then we're going to multiply 3 times. So 3 times y is 3y. 3 times 3 is 9 equals, and what happens here? The reason we put the 3 on top is so that the 3's will divide out. 3 divided by 3 is 1, isn't it? So the 3's cancel out, and I'm left with the negative 2, and that distributes. Y'all have never done this before. Okay? So you're going to take the denominator. You're not going to distribute that fraction, or you'll end up with 2 fractions. And we want to get rid of the fraction right off the bat. So we're going to take the denominator, we're going to distribute it. The denominator and the denominators will cancel out in your Bluebell truck, and you're going to distribute the numerator. So basically, the denominator goes to here and here, and the numerator will go to here and here. That's basically what happens. Now then, let's multiply. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x, and negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. And notice I have this same pattern, don't I? I have y plus or minus a number equal x plus or minus a number. That will happen every single time the way we're teaching you this way. Now then, we want to solve for y, so I'm going to move over the 9. I'm going to minus 9 minus 9. I'll have 3y equals negative 2x minus 11. And the last step is to divide by 3 times. This is going to be a lot easier than multiplying the fraction twice, okay? So stay with me. We're going to divide by 3, and we'll end up with y equals negative 2 over 3x minus 11 over 3. And I have my slope-intercept. Ho, 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 ho. So going back, we're going to take the equation, or take the slope and the point, and plug it into point slope. If the slope has a fraction, you're going to take that denominator and distribute it 3 times. The denominator right here will cancel out, and the numerator goes to the right. Okay, and this will make sense the more we do it. This is how we're going to switch them. So what we did this year, this year we're going to be given the point and the slope. We're going to plug it into point slope, and we're going to switch it. And you've just done that twice. Let's go to here. Now then, on these, we want standard form. Okay, we have one with an integer and one with a fraction as a slope, so we'll do the integer first. Okay, so go to example 3, put x, y, and m. Now then, we're going to plug in a point slope. So y, the opposite of 2 is a minus 2, equals, my slope is negative 3, parentheses, x, the opposite of positive 1 is negative 1. I have my point slope, don't I? Now then, there's no fraction for the slope, so this is pretty simple. We're going to distribute the negative 3, right? We're going to Bluebell trick it, right? So we're going to have y minus 2 equals negative 3x plus 3. Ho, 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 ho. Okay, now then we want standard form, right? Standard form is ax plus by equals c. So the x has to go first, the y has to go second, and the c term, the constant, has to go last. So this negative 3x has got to go to the left of it. Let me put that in another color. So the negative 3x will go to the left, so I'm going to add 3x to the right and to the left, and then this negative 2 is going to go over here, plus 2 plus 2. So I'm moving my x to the left, and I'm moving my 2 to the right. I can't add 3x and y, can I? So I'm going to have 3x plus y equals, the 2's go to 0, the 3x's go to 0, and 3 plus 2 is 5. Shazam! You have just written that in standard form. Ho, 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 ho. Okay, notice also, we still have this pattern, don't we? After you distribute the slope, you're going to have y plus or minus a number equal x plus or minus a number. You've got to be able to take that and go to y equal or ax plus by. You've got to be able to take that, go to slope-intercept or standard. Oh, let's do another example. Remember, this is the hardest thing you will do in this class this fall. Just keep working through it and you'll get it, okay? The next example. Okay, we have x, y, and m. Okay, now then we're going to plug in a point slope. So y minus 3 equals, our slope's negative 1/2, parentheses x. The opposite of negative 2 is plus 2. Remember, when you plug y and x in, you're going to flip the signs, aren't you? Now then we have a fraction, right? The denominator's 2 in it. So I'm going to Bluebell truck the 2 3 times. Piece of cake, this isn't hard. So on the left side, I'm going to do 2 times y and 2 times negative 3. So that's 2y minus 6 equals, on the right, the 2's cancel out and the numerator is going to get Bluebell trucked. That's going to happen every time. It's not that hard. So negative 1 times x is negative x. Negative 1 times 2 is negative 2. Now then I want my x first. We're going to do this one step at a time here. I want my x first, so I'm going to move over the x. I'll have x plus 2y minus 6 equals negative 2. And then I'm going to take the negative 6 and I'm going to move it to the right. So I'll end up with x plus 2y equals 4. And notice also you end up with this pattern, don't you? Every single time you'll end up with that. Y plus or minus a number equals x plus or minus a number. Then you'll just switch that to standard or y equal mx plus b. Piece of cake, okay? Turn the page! Now then on this one we're given 2 points. This is not easy because you got to get the slope first, okay? So let's find our slope. So the way I like getting the slope, start off with fraction bar minus minus. We got to do y minus y over x minus x. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, right? So my 2 y's are 1 and negative 7, right? Put the right one first. So I'm going to put 1 and negative 7 on top. Notice I have 2 minus signs by that 7, don't I? And then I'm going to put the x's on the bottom, which are 2 and 0, 2 minus 0. Punch this in the calculator. Punch this into the calculator. Hit Control Divide and type that as is into the calculator. You will not miss it. If you miss this slope and go down, everything's wrong. So make sure you're using the calculator here. Now then 1 minus a negative 7 is 8 and 2 minus 0 is 2. So our slope ends up being 4. So put an m and a 4 right here. So I know my slope is 4 and let's use the first point every time. So this will be my x and this will be my y. So I'm going to take this and plug it into point slope, aren't I? Okay, so I'm going to have y, the opposite of negative 7 is plus 7, equals, our slope is 4, parentheses, x. Do I need to put the minus 0? I really don't need to put the minus 0, do I? So I'm just going to close the parentheses. Let's go ahead and just put it, minus 0. That way you can see it. But you really don't have to put it there, okay? Now then, we don't have a fraction, do we? So the next step, notice, we're going to distribute the 4. We're going to bluebell truck that 4. We'll have y plus 7 equals 4x. And I do not need to put the plus 0, do I? So notice we have that pattern again, don't we? Except there's no number added to x because it's 0, right? Now then, we want to write this equation in slope-intercept form, right? So we want y equals something. So I'm going to take the 7 and I'm going to move it to the right, aren't I? So the opposite of plus 7 is minus 7. I'm going to end up with y equals 4x minus 7. Ho, 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 ho. That is more power. Oh. Let's go to the next one. Okay, same thing. On this one, we got to get the slope first, right? Start finding the slope by drawing fraction bar minus minus. Then you'll put your y's on top, your x's on bottom. My 2 y's are negative 5 and negative 3, right? So I'm going to put y2 and y1. Notice I got 2 negatives by the 3, don't I? That's going to turn into a plus. And my x's are negative 2 and negative 4, right? So negative 2 and negative 4. Punch this into the calculator and you won't miss it. Use your TI Inspire calculator. Hit Control Divide. Punch negative 5 minus negative 3. Hit the down button. Negative 2 minus negative 4. Hit enter and bam, you'll get the answer. Don't miss the slope. If you do, everything below it's wrong. Now Mr. Toops has a calculator right here. Negative 5 plus 3 is a negative 2. Negative 2 plus 4 is a positive 2. This is going to be a negative 1 slope. So I'm going to put m and use the first point. So that's our x and y. So now then we're going to plug into point slope. This is steppy, okay? It's a lot of steps and it's not easy. But you're going to get this, okay? So let's use point slope. So y, the opposite of minus 3 is plus 3 equals negative 1 parentheses x plus 4. Okay, so we're here now, aren't we? Now then we're going to bluebell truck the negative 1. Negative 1, negative 1. We'll have y plus 3 equals negative x minus 4. And we want slope-intercept form here, don't we? So since we want slope-intercept form, all we got to do is move the 3 over. Ho, 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 ho. So our equation will be y equal negative x minus 7. Oh, that's more power. Notice when you get to right here, you have this pattern, don't you? You have y plus or minus a number equal x plus or minus a number. That will happen every single time the way we're teaching it. Then you just make it standard or slope-intercept. So what you're doing here is you're finding the slope, you're taking the first point, plugging it into the point slope, and you're going to switch it. And y'all can do this, okay? 6th grade integer work here. Let's go to the next one. Oh. Okay, so on this one we're going to do the same thing. We're going to draw fraction bar minus minus, and then we're going to put the y's on top. So my y's are -3 and -2, aren't they? So -3, -2. My x's are -1, -4. Notice that there's 2 negatives in the middle, right? That's why you put those minus zeros first. Now then punch this into the calculator. Okay, please use the calculator. Don't miss the slope, then miss everything out. So this would turn into -3 plus 2 is a -1. -1 plus 4 is a 3. So my slope is going to be -1/3. And we're going to use the first point. This is x and y. We're going to put this into point slope, aren't we? So let's write point slope. Y plus 2 equals -1/3 parentheses x plus 4. So it's the opposite of y, the opposite of x, and we're putting our slope in, right? Do we have a fraction? We do, don't we? So the denominator is going to get bluebell trucked 3 times in it. So put a 3, a 3, and a 3. Whatever the denominator is gets bluebell trucked 3 times, okay? Now then, 3 times y is 3y, 3 times 2 is 6, and these 3, that will cancel out every single time. Whatever's left in the numerator gets bluebell trucked to the right. So I'm going to have equals -x minus 4. Okay, so now I'm going to, and I'm sorry my phone's ringing when I'm trying to teach. Sorry about that. So now I'm going to, let's see, we want y-intercept. I'm going to move the 6 over. So I'm going to take the 6 and move it to the right. So I'm going to end up with 3y equals -x. -4 minus 6 is a -10. And now then I'm going to divide by 3 on it to get the y all by itself. So my y will equal to -1/3x minus 10/3. Ho, 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 ho. That is more power. Oh, let's go to the next one. Okay, on this one we need to get our, this is kind of tricky here, we need to get our point. This is x, this is y, this is x, this is y. So let's write down our order pairs. We would have 6, -4, and we would have 9, -9. So we need to get the slope, don't we? So we're going to draw fraction bar minus minus, and now then let's put our y's on top. Our y's are -9 and -4, and our x's are going to be, this should be an x. Our x's are going to be 9 and 6, right? Okay. So -9 plus 4 is -5 over, did I do that right? Yep. 9 minus 6 is 3. So our slope's going to be -5/3. That's going to be our n. Box that. And let's use our first point, the x and the y. So we're going to use the slope and the point, and we're going to plug it into point slope. So our point slope will be y. The opposite of -4 is +4 equals, the slope's -5/3, parentheses, x minus 6. Ho, 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 ho. Now then, we have a fraction, don't we? So we're going to bluebell truck the 3. You bluebell truck the denominator 3 times. Now we're going to multiply. 3 times y is 3y. 3 times 4 is 12. Equals, the 3's cancel out, and you're going to bluebell truck this -5, aren't you? Ho, 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 ho. So when you bluebell truck the -5, we'll get -5x plus 30. Oh. Now then we're going to switch this to y equal mx plus b. So we're going to take the 12 and move it across, not plus 12. So we're going to subtract 12 from both sides. We'll have 3y equals -5x. 30 minus 12, thank your 6th grade math teacher if you know that, is 18. Then we're going to divide by 3, aren't we? So we're going to divide by 3 times, and we'll end up with y equals -5/3x. 18 divided by 3 is 6. And remember, you're going to end up with this every single time. Y plus or minus a number equal X plus or minus a number, and you just switch it to standard or Y-intercept. Okay. And 2 more problems. Okay. Given an equation in point-slope form, identify a point in the slope of the graph or solve for Y and graph the slope-intercept. So let's do this. The easiest way is to get the point in the slope. Okay, so please, this is the first time in your life you've graphed an equation in point-slope. You do not have to get the y-intercept to graph a line. You do not have to get the y-intercept to graph a line. One more time, you do not have to get the y-intercept to graph a line. So let's do this. Okay, this is my M, this is my Y, this is my X in it. But when I pull it out, it's going to be opposite. So, point is, my opposite of +1 is a -1. The opposite of -4 is a +4. And my slope is -2 in it. So notice, when you pull the numbers out, the signs will also switch. Now then, let's graph -1, 4. -1, left 1, and up 4 is right here in it. Now then, my slope is -2/1, which means down 2, right 1. So from this dot, I'm going to go down 2, right 1, down 2, right 1, and keep repeating the pattern. I'm going to draw, oop, that's not right, down 2, right 1. I'm going to keep drawing those dots. And then I'm going to go backwards, and then I'm going to connect the dots. Ho, 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 ho. Notice that my constant rate of change is down 2/1 in it. This is a piece of cake. So you're going to pull the point and the slope out and then graph that, aren't you? Oh, let's do the next one. Okay, same thing on this one. Let's get our point. So draw parentheses. This will be my X. What's the opposite of a -2? It's a +2, comma. This will be my Y. What's the opposite of +1? It's a -1. And this is my slope. My slope is going to be up 1, right 3 in it. Now then, let's graph this point. So we're going to go right 2, down 1, draw a dot. And then from there, we're going to do the slope. So the slope is telling me to go up 1, right 3. So up 1, right 3, up 1, right 3. And I could go backwards, can I? So I'm going to go down 1, left 3, down 1, left 3, down 1, left 3. And now I have a constant rate of change, don't I? Connect the dots with a line. And I've just graphed my line. Notice that on this, the y-intercept is a fraction. If you try to switch it, you won't be able to graph it. So pull out the point and the slope, graph the point, and then do the slope. You don't have to get the y-intercept to graph the line. Oh, this was a very tough lesson. Thank you for paying attention. Y'all were great today. Message your teacher if you have any troubles. Y'all are going to do fine on this. Remember, you are amazing. You are created to do wonderful things, and you are awesome.